Fuel scarcity. FG begins a 15-day emergency fuel supply to the nation. As fuel scarcity continues to bite harder in different locations, the federal government says it has begun a 15-day emergency fuel supply to ensure the commodity circulates across the length and breadth of the country. The government also disclosed that vessels importing premium motor spirit would continue to berth at the shore to discharge petrol to different depots, from where the product would be distributed to different filling stations. The Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria had in a statement on Tuesday said its members in Apapa and other locations in Lagos had been receiving 300 million liters of fuel from 8 vessels this week. This was after the Southwest Regional Coordinator of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, A.O. Cardoso, confirmed to one of our correspondents that aside from the 240 million liters offloaded at various depots on Monday, close to 85 million liters of petrol were offloaded as of Tuesday evening. However, the Punch observed on Wednesday that the queues in filling stations were yet to subside, even as Nigerians celebrated May Day. As of Wednesday afternoon, it was observed that roads in Ogun, Lagos, and others were deserted as vehicles lined up in filling stations to buy fuel. Some individuals said they had parked their vehicles pending the availability of petrol. Also, the few filling stations where the fuel was available sold at prices considered to be too exorbitant. But in an interview with one of our correspondents, the NMPDRA's Cardoso insisted that the product would soon be available across the nooks and crannies of the country, saying the government was doing its best to ensure massive distribution of PMS. Cardoso disclosed that more vessels would keep arriving in Nigeria for 2 weeks, starting from last Monday. This, he said, would include continuous distribution of petrol to filling stations. According to him, each state of the Federation has its allocations, saying the same will be delivered to reduce the queues at filling stations. As I said earlier, there would be enough fuel across Nigeria soon. We have received over 300 million liters as of Tuesday. More have arrived as we speak, but I can't give you the figure. Vessels will keep arriving in Nigeria for 15 days, which started counting on Monday, and we will keep distributing the product across the nation. The masses should not panic. All these will soon vanish. We are not prioritizing anywhere. Each state has its allocation to be delivered accordingly, Cardoso stated. Meanwhile, many residents of Ogun State on Wednesday resorted to trekking from one place to the other as fuel scarcity continued to take its toll on Nigerians. This was because transport fares skyrocketed following the lingering fuel crisis. One of our correspondents reports that as more filling stations closed shops and commercial drivers were unable to access petrol, some residents resorted to trekking while many stayed at home. Punch reports how students of both tertiary institutions and preliminary schools have shunned their classrooms over the hike in the price of buses due to the non-availability of fuel. One of our correspondents who went around Abeokuta on Wednesday observed more or less deserted roads with scanty vehicles. Residents going to distant locations were sighted standing at different bus stops with no vehicles available to convey them. One of the travelers, Mrs. Adeyemi Oni, who spoke with one of our correspondents, expressed frustration over the situation, appealing to the government at all levels to respond to the matter swiftly. Many things are happening as a result of this fuel scarcity. The poor are now poorer and hungrier because they can't even get to where they work due to high transport fares and lack of vehicles on the road. I can only appeal to the government to do something urgently, he said. A motorist, Kazim Adarimi, told one of our correspondents that he had been queuing at the NNPC filling station on the MKO Abiola Way for hours. The Punch observed out of the numerous stations along Iketunagando Road, only one dispensed PMS as of the time of filing this report on Wednesday. An outlet belonging to God's Decision, located on Governor's Road in Iketun area of Lagos State, sold the product at 999 nairas per liter. Other outlets like the NNPCL, Mobile, and NIPCO, among others, did not dispense fuel, but motorists refused to leave the queues. The Punch observed a long queue at the Total filling station located beside Isolo General Hospital, where fuel was sold for 580 per liter, while the Jesco filling station along Chemist bus stop sold for 660 naira per liter. The Technoil located at Irakari Junction was dispensing fuel at 560 nairas per liter on Wednesday, where our correspondent visited, but there was a long queue of motorists. Also, the black marketers roaming at the NNPC junction were selling PMS between 1,000 nairas and 1,200 nairas per liter. The mobile filling station located along Palm Avenue towards Mushin sold at 565 naira per liter, while the black marketers towards the Nako bus stop were selling between 1,000 naira and 1,500 naira per liter on the highway. The Punch gathered that the fuel scarcity that started last week has yet to improve across the country as residents beg the government to address same as early as possible.
Meanwhile, major oil marketers in the country are assuring Nigerians that the current fuel shortages leading to long queues at filling stations will be resolved this week. The Managing Director of NNPC Retail Limited and Chairman, Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria, made this known during the press briefing in Lagos today.
300 million liters coming into shore into our depots this week, which is much more than we normally get. We also tomorrow, we keep on loading extended in our depots, and tomorrow we're loading, although it's an official bank holiday, and we will keep on loading over the weekend. So my full expectation is that with this volume coming in, and us extending our loading times at our depots, and having working tomorrow through a bank holiday, that we should see the queues in Lagos going down, in maybe already tomorrow, but at least before the end of the week.
It's been over a week that residents of the nation's capital continue to queue for fuel. Long queues at fuel stations resurfaced in parts of Abuja on Thursday last week, with many motorists spending long hours on the queue.
More than 1 hour now. I did. So, plenty more today. So, some they enter Chua, then they collect money. That's why the line is not moving.
The management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on Thursday had explained the reason for the latest scarcity. A statement by the Chief Corporate Communications Officer says in part, NNPC Limited wishes to clarify that the tightness in the supply of premium motor spirit currently being experienced in some parts of the country is a result of logistics issues, and they have been resolved. However, most fuel stations in Abuja are not selling. Those selling, like this one opposite the NNPC towers in Abuja, has a long queue of motorists who are waiting to buy the product. As the scarcity bites harder, motorists are caught between staying on the queues for hours and buying from roadside sellers, popularly called black marketers, who are cashing out from the situation.
We don't have option than buying all those things these boys sells, because even in filling station they don't agree to sell for us. So the only alternative we have is to get from them.
The situation is not different in Kaduna State, where most fuel stations are under lock and key.
Since yesterday, I've been driving around to find where I can get fuel just for the children to go to school and me to drive around for my businesses. But no success. I just came here now, nothing is happening. I've gone to the other one, there is no fuel. So we are waiting and calling on the government to come out clearly and say what the problem is. Is it that they are no longer selling fuel or what?
For the few fuel stations that are selling, the pump price of petrol is between 670 and 690 naira per litre. Motorists here are lamenting the hardship as many leave the petrol stations in disappointment.
I've been on this queue for almost 3 hours now. The next thing they say the fuel is finished. I feel bad. I feel like if I'm the government, if I'm the president of this country, I will seal up this filling station. Not only this one, most of these marketers, I will seal up their stations, because what they are doing is bad. Not that they don't have this fuel, they have it, but they just don't want to give us fuel.
Some of them say they are at the mercy of black marketers who sell between 1,000 naira and 1,200 naira per litre. As the situation continues, many can only hope that the cause of this scarcity will be addressed quickly to ease the hardship on Nigerians.
Thanks for tuning in to Smart Okason TV show. Keep exploring, stay curious, and never stop getting the latest information happening around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to keep the intellect flowing. Until next time, keep sharpening and be smart.